According to Young and the Restless Weekly Spoilers, during the week of June 14 to 18, Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, makes a confession that provides her with a lot of relief. Additionally, on the CBS soap series, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, intensifies her revenge scheme and incorporates a B&B crossover. Recently, Mariah Copeland has become Genoa City's do-gooder on Gly and R. She first consented to bear the child of Chance Chancellor, formerly Donnie Bose, and Abby Newman, Melissa Ordway. She then placed Elizabeth Liner's character Tara Locke on notice. One could not ask for a better buddy than her. She also serves as a sounding board for her mother, Sharon Case, Sharon Newman. Mariah is available to help anyone who needs it. That is very different from Mariah's initial gaslighting experience on the soap opera. But according to recent rumors from Young and the Restless, Mariah Copeland admits to having some less than idealistic notions. Supporters question whether the expectant surrogate is feeling guilty about choosing to bear someone else's child. Mariah may not have disclosed anything about the pregnancy though. Maybe she tells Michael Mueller's character Kyle from Young and the Restless. Mariah feels relieved after coming clean. Her king idea, but she also acted astonished. According to V&R News, Sally will be working extra hours next week to implement her plan. To try if she can get in touch with Eric Forrester, John McCook, and entice Summer to a lucrative position in Italy. She will even fly to Los Angeles. Will Eric discover that she is devising a cunning scheme? Tara might alter her mind and choose to go out of town with Sally instead of Summer. But Sally is determined to go forward, assistance or no help. Next week on Gly and R, she will intensify her revenge plan. Eric has a soft place for the redhead designer who is unstoppable. These crossover episodes on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday are not to be missed if you also enjoy Bold and the Beautiful. Abby Newman worries about her husband the following week. Chance has spent months on a covered assignment. The Harris from Newman is growing weary of being by herself. She misses the MIA detective a lot, as does her mother-in-law, Nana Webster. Trisha Cast. Now they want him home. On Young and the Restless though, that doesn't appear to be feasible. According to spoilers, Chance hasn't contacted the attractive blonde in a while. He had already called and texted, but these messages stopped coming. Abby is inconsolable, wondering if he's alright. She approaches Laura Lee Bell's character, Christine Williams. However, the former DA doesn't get any useful information. Abby's creativity is therefore unbridled. Through surrogate Mariah Copeland, she will be busy getting ready for the birth of her child. However, she is not feeling well this week on Gly and R. On Young and the Restless, the relationship between Ashland Locke, Richard Berge, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel, has gotten pretty intense. He recently invited her to join him for dinner in New York City, and she accepted. Vicky is relishing the vicious businessman's attention. On Gly and R, she's grinning for the first time in months. Her parents have taken note of this shift in behavior, though. Melody Thomas Scott's character Nikki Newman recently questioned her daughter about her happiness. However, Victoria ignored her mother. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, will now have the opportunity to put his daughter on the hot seat. He asks her about her connection to Ash. Will Vicky answer his questions honestly or will she sidestep them? Information from Young and the Restless suggests that Victoria irritates her father. Whether the people who keep secrets are prepared or not, secrets have a way of exploding into the light in Genoa City. However, one secret stands out this week on the Young and the Restless. One that puts relationships in jeopardy, reopens old wounds, and compels a cherished character to face realities she has long suppressed. Typically the pillar of support for her loved ones, Mariah Copeland approaches her breaking point. Following weeks of mild worry, restless nights, and disturbing emotional changes, she eventually stops avoiding the feelings that are brewing inside of her. And when her confession is made, it rocks her closest friends and family to their core. This week in Genoa City is not your typical dramatic one. For Mariah, Tessa, Sharon and yes, even those who never anticipated being dragged into this developing maelstrom, this is a watershed moment. Mariah Copeland. A storm encased in a smile Mariah used to take pride in her direct honesty. But now she has mastered the art of concealment. It began modestly. dismissing inquiries about her emotional state, imposing optimism when she didn't seem well, and offering justifications when her relatives urged her to talk. The first person to notice something was Tessa Porter. Their marriage has endured a great deal, including insecurities, the turmoil of their daughter Aria's singing career, the loss of their daughter's hearing, and a series of unforeseen obstacles. However, Mariah has never been this aloof and protective. At the end of the day, she still curls up with Tessa on the couch, laughs at her jokes, and gives her a kiss. Her eyes aren't really that bright though. Her voice sounds practiced in its smoothness. Even Noah senses it at the difficult times when he sees his sister, and Tessa and Sharon sense it as well. Mariah, however, maintains that she is alright. Until at last something breaks, the trigger, and the woman behind it when Sharon, who is already sensitive to her daughter's emotional changes, softly inquires as to whether she is truly alright. Everything comes crashing down. Reopening old wounds, facing new ones, and attempting to keep her family together in the face of upheaval are just a few of the issues Sharon has been facing lately. However, she notices something frightening about Mariah. Sharon tells her, "I know you don't want to worry me. But with me, you don't have to act fake." At that point, Mariah breaks down. Even she is shocked by how quickly the tears fall. They're the stomach-wrenching, breathless sort that result after weeks of suppressing too much. They're not the silent kind either. "I can't continue doing this," Mariah mumbles, shaking. "I can't act like everything is fine." However, the confession hasn't even started yet. The unexpected disclosure. Mariah, at long last, speaks up. The dam eventually breaches when she gets home to Tessa. Fearful and bewildered, Tessa sits next to her on the bed with their hands clasped together, waiting for the truth. At last, Mariah says what she has been afraid to say, even to herself. She admits, "I'm afraid I'm losing myself again. I feel like I'm vanishing." This is about more than one incident. It's about unhealed emotional wounds, love, fear, trauma, and layers of pressure. Mariah makes a more thorough confession. She admits that she has been dealing with such severe anxiety that she wakes up gasping for air. She acknowledges that she feels bad about not being able to help Tessa and Aria with anything. She acknowledges that she feels unworthy, and as though she is disappointing her loved ones. The big shock, however, comes after. "Bowie is always on my mind," Mariah murmurs. Their son in a surrogacy. The child she was carrying. She bonded with the infant before she ever thought she would. After being abducted by Stitch and subjected to an unimaginable horror, she returned the baby. None of it has healed Mariah. For months, she kept her grief to herself out of devotion, love, and a fear of harming Abby. The pain, however, persisted. It just sank farther. And suddenly, like a tidal wave, her confession comes out. She acknowledges, "I thought I was over it. However, every time I gaze at Aria, I consider the possible outcomes. What nearly occurred. What actually took place. I'm not sure how to stop, either." She trembles when Tessa holds her. There aren't any tunes, lyrical metaphors, or poetic solace for once. Just be honest. Honesty that is harsh and raw. Tessa's reaction. Love put to the test. Power unveiled. Mariah has always relied on Tessa, yet she is deeply affected by this admission. She didn't realize the lady she loves was going through this much pain in quiet, not because she questions their relationship. She gently wipes away Mariah's tears. Her hair is tucked behind her ear, and she fulfills Mariah's greatest need. She pays attention. No disruptions. Don't pass judgment. No answers were provided too soon. Just the warmth, stability, and grounding of her presence. Once Mariah is done, Tessa speaks quietly. She responds, "You no longer have to bear this alone. With each other, we will overcome this." It isn't overly poetic, theatrical, or loud. Just the truth. However, when Tessa clutches her wife, an unsaid emotion flashes across her face. Guilt. She questions if she saw the warning signs. If she was a factor in Mariah's sense of invisibility. If she was overly distracted by her own professional difficulties. Love is human, messy, and complex. And both ladies are currently bearing the consequences. Sharon takes over and offers expert assistance following her admission. Mariah feels emotionally spent. However, Sharon gently pushes for therapy, which Mariah has long opposed. Genuine, profound, trauma-informed assistance. Sharon tells her, "You don't need to feel embarrassed. Receiving assistance does not imply weakness. It indicates that you're at last prepared to recover." Mariah nods in agreement for the first time in months. Her admission was the first step toward realizing that she couldn't escape her past. It wasn't merely a release. She can't continue to ignore her worries and act as though she has limitless strength. She is now prepared to confront the reality. Reality sets in. Abby gets sucked into the narrative. Abby Newman Chancellor becomes immediately concerned upon learning that Mariah has experienced some sort of breakdown. Because of the surrogacy, Abby has always harbored a peculiar blend of thankfulness, remorse, and complex fondness for Mariah. Trying not to bother Mariah, Abby walks up to her softly. Sincerely, Abby states, "I never wanted you to be hurt because of me." She is not at all to blame, according to Mariah. However, the discussion compels her to face feelings she had repressed for months. Mariah explains, "I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to feel responsible. You are not to blame for this. That's what I experienced, and at last, I'm handling it." Abby sobs, feeling both relieved and terrified. This could strengthen their bond or cause old wounds to resurface. In any case, the truth has now been revealed. The family responds. Faith, Nick, and Noah take a step in Mariah's admission has an impact on the other members of the Newman Copeland Porter family. Noah gets extremely protective since he understands what it's like to struggle emotionally. To give Mariah and Tessa some breathing room, he offers to monitor Aria whenever they need to. Mariah is reminded of her strength by Faith, who is always sympathetic, not because she conceals her suffering, but rather because she overcomes it. Surprisingly, Nick's response is among the most emotional. He treats Mariah as someone he respects and loves about greatly, not as Cassie's twin or Sharon's kid. Nick asserts, "You don't always have to be the strong one. Now let's be strong for you." Mariah is reminded that she is not as alone as she initially believed during this poignant scene. The fallout. Recovery is non-linear as the week progresses. Mariah starts her first therapy session and is vulnerable for the first time in a long time. She discusses the abduction. She discusses the fear. She talks about being stuck. She tells about her beloved and lost baby, Bowie. She also discusses Aria, the child she adores but worries may fail. "You are not broken," the therapist tells her. "You're recovering from the trauma. The path ahead is lengthy. Setbacks are inevitable. There will be difficult days. There will be times when she wants to run once more. Now though,